I know it's only been a week, but it seems like a month since I've seen you.
I know there's so much going on. I wish I could talk about everything that's going on, but there's some really big stuff happening that I
Yeah,
don't want to mention, So
that's
it's been a
okay.
busy week. Good to see you. We've been going in separate directions. You've been driving people all over the planet, and
Right?
you had a little bit of a cold, so you got through that and
Oh, yes.
on the rails.
Yes. So I'm Dr. Lori Davis, and this is our host, Mr. Doug Smith. And we're here today to present to you the press box coming out of our mother channel, the Disability Channel. And I would just like to take a moment to thank the Disability Channel for the opportunity to be here. And Doug, it started with you. You were invited first and foremost, and so grateful that you included me to be part of the press box. And now we've expanded. Definitely going to have you on a couple of times on the Today Show because you fit a few of the categories. So just
Wow,
saying, just
and
by
so much talent. You and Jay, like combine your talent to how many years experience in doing this and ramping something that helps people. That's the thing, right? It helps people, allows them to watch what they want to watch. Like no commercials, maybe one commercial, from our sponsors, but everything else is today, is happening live. It's happening right now. It's not happening yesterday or 4 days ago, and it's not been repeated over and over again. This is real time, real stuff.
absolutely, absolutely. So on the personal side, the ice is gone off the Ottawa River. You had some time with your grandsons.
Well,
You
I'm broadcasting from Ottawa here, Ottawa, Canada, and yeah, hockey's still rampant, of course, up here with any type of hockey going on. It's people are talking about it, and when I go to the store and I see somebody I know, they're talking to me about hockey all the time, and I pretend to know, but I'm so busy with all this other stuff. I don't really follow it that as closely as people might think. So I do follow it, but I'm not a fanatic. I'm a fanatic about getting a good word out. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, speaking of which, when I was speaking with Jay this morning on the show, even on the show, he said, when you're on the air with Doug Smith this afternoon, ask him about this most recent firing or move in the Toronto Maple Leafs. What happened? Some kind of shift there with,
I heard it was gonna happen. There was all this talk, and as soon as the game was over, they started discussing it, and so I try not to pay attention too much to that until it actually happens. So I'm out of the loop. They don't keep me
okay.
informed anymore.
All right. Well, we can't go to you for that. All right.
No, no, I'm not the guy, but we're gonna have on this show, we're gonna have some players on that
Yeah.
are immersed in the game and in the NHL. Like talking to a few of my buddies that I played with, both with Pittsburgh Penguins and alumni with the Buffalo Sabres, and of course the Vancouver Canucks and the Edmonton Oilers. There's all sorts of people who have a really great message in hockey about the changes that have happened over the last 5 years, and how it's become healthier. Though last night's game doesn't demonstrate that, like all the fights that happened in the game. I think there was 12 or 13
Oh,
misconducts last night.
wow.
It was just one
So
fight after the other until there was nobody left on the bench. And I was watching it going, well, some things haven't changed.
well, the thing is, they don't listen to me. Keep your sticks on the ice. Red, green. Keep your stick on the ice.
Well,
So,
it really got crazy with the Florida Boston series. So I think everybody's going to be on the edge of their seats, and they're going to test the threshold of what the NHL will allow these days.
right. So, in your former life, it was hockey. In your existing life, it's trauma and supporting and helping others with their trauma. And so, we know that any kind of personal injury or setback, and just in a thumbnail, would you like to share just a thumbnail sketch of your injury for our new viewers who may not know your story? So, can you just share a little bit
Sure.
about it? And then we'll introduce our guest. Um, and I can't wait to introduce her formally. So
Yeah.
over to you, Doug.
Sure. Doug Smith again from Ottawa. I played 607 professional hockey games. I was drafted into the NHL at 18, the first year of the 18-year-old draft. Dale Howardchuck went first, I went second, Bobby Carpenter went third, and Ron Francis went fourth. I played in the NHL for 9 years, and then I went to Europe. And when I was in Europe, I went headfirst into the boards, and my whole life changed. So, I was left with nothing but my thoughts. I shattered this fifth and sixth cervical vertebrae in my neck, and my life started over. And I had to learn how to do everything over a 13-year period of time. It was 13 years till I could skate again, and then I actually recovered to the point where I was able to play the Ottawa Senators alumni here in Ottawa, and I've played over 50 games with them, and some of these guys are moving out there, but I got my speed back, and I just recently retired because it was just getting too fast. I don't want to run into Chris Neal or Chris Phillips out there. You know what I
mean? Good for you. Well, that's a big overcoming story, and that's really what we're all about, is being able to share people's stories and give them a platform. And maybe what we could do right now is put a plug in for the end of the month, Doug. Once every 3 months, we host a recovery and performance summit. And Doug and I hosted the very first one. And we bring in 18 to 21 speakers to share their stories of recovery. And the reason I wanted to do that was we work with a lot of clients who are in the process of recovery. And you do too, Doug. And I'm sure that our guest coming up, Sabine Becker, does the same. But the thing is, I felt there was a need for people to hear about the fact that people actually did get over things or through things, and there was a light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of times that inspiration needs to be there in order for us to keep going.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I only looked when I had a broken neck, when I was lying in a hospital bed with a broken neck and paralyzed. The only person I wanted to talk to was somebody who had a broken neck, who had learned to walk again. I didn't want to talk to anybody else. They needed to have had a broken neck, and they needed to have learned to walk again. And I had a friend from high school who had just that injury. His name was Neil Fairburn. He just recently passed away, but he was paralyzed and he learned to walk again. And I knew him from high school. So I had him summoned. Seriously to my hospital room, and just him and I just talked about how he did it, and he explained it to me. So the challenge is that people don't do anything until they're in such a dire state. Like, I had to be paralyzed to be able to say to somebody, look, I need help. And you know what, and that's a weakness. You should be able to ask for help. I believe it's a strength. I learned that through the process.
Yeah, absolutely. So really what you were looking for was somebody with credibility.
Yeah, somebody who has the experience of actually doing the specific thing, whether it's psychological or emotional or physical. Give me somebody that's done the exact thing that I want to do, and then I'll just copy what they did. Thanks.
Right. And that's our inspiration. So that's the piece that I have found in working with my clients, is that inspirational aspect needs to be there, because sometimes we need someone else believing in us before we can believe in us.
Yes.
And so those are the lifelines. So in the Recovery Summit, we have our speakers share 15 minutes of a situation they were in, 15 minutes on how they got out of there, took you 13 years, and then what they're doing today, because that's also inspirational to see the other side, don't you think?
Yeah, to have gotten over the mountain, or to be getting over the mountain, and to be getting active as opposed to being still.
Exactly.
Right? And the only reason people commit suicide, Lori, in my opinion, is because they're left with only one option. And so if this show provides one option for one person, you know what I mean?
It's worth it.
It could save a life, because they're going one way, all of a sudden they turn, and their whole life changes, and the sun comes out.
That's right. And so we've had speakers, some of our people came out of abusive childhood, divorce, 2-time cancer survivors, losing a business, losing our home, anything that we've experienced as a loss, which you and Sabine are going to talk about during our talk with her. So we're all about publicizing the fact that you can overcome everything and anything once you make up your mind.
I was taught that I was taught that to be that on the ice, but I wasn't taught that to be that off the ice.
There you go.
I
Okay.
was never, and they're getting better at it, but that's the thing that they need to get better at.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
They're already good. They've always been good at making better hockey players. The guy who gets on the ice first and the guy who gets off the ice last is the better hockey player.
oh my God.
Except if you're a Barkov, or
Yeah.
you're one in a freaking zillion. He probably has a beer for breakfast. I don't know.
All right. Well, we're going to take a 30-second break, and then we're going to bring in our special guest, Sabine Becker. And such a delight to have her on the show. And she's really, really busy. So she fit us in, and I am so grateful for that. And when I bring up the 30-second spot, I want you to keep in mind, all of our viewers and anybody out there, this is an opportunity if you have a product, a program, a service, maybe you have a book, maybe you have a workshop, maybe you have a widget, it doesn't matter. And we could have you featured in this 30-second spot. So let's play that 30-second spot. And if you can come up and put everything that you do in 30 seconds, we want to talk to you. We want to talk to you. All right. Yes. Okay, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Press Box here on a Thursday afternoon with our host, Mr. Doug Smith. And welcome to our very special guest, Sabine Becker. And I'm looking forward to having Sabine share her story, pieces of her story, and Doug shares pieces, and I'll just jump in with, whatever now and again. So welcome to the show, Sabine.
Hello, Lori. Hello, Doug. How are you both doing?
We're doing great.
Hi, Sabine. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm broadcasting up here from Ottawa, Canada. And where are you? You sitting in La Jolla Cove down there in San Diego? Where are you?
Yeah, sort of. A little bit north of San Diego. And the weather is beautiful. It's warm and it's almost summer down here. We never really have winter. But originally, as you can hear, maybe my accent, I was born in Germany and we have immigrated, my son and I have immigrated in 1988. So that's a long time, but I still have my accent and I still go over to Europe for a few months every year. But I love it here in the San Diego area. No more cold for me, no more hockey. When I listen to you guys talking about hockey, I'm thinking that sounds really like cold on the ice.
All right. So let's go over to you, Sabine, right away to get into your story because it's such a fabulous story. And we'll take a little break, maybe in 15 minutes or so, just for all of us to get our breath. And we'll take another little 30-second dip. So let's start with you, Sabine, and just share a bit about your background and your journey to recovery and health and wealth and all that comes with that.
Yeah. Well, where should I start? I was born in Germany, as I said already, and I was born with very, very small arms, as your viewers probably can see. And that happened due to the drug thalidomide. And thalidomide was given in the late 1950s, early 1960s to pregnant women. And I think both of you still remember those days of thalidomide. It's a long time ago. But unfortunately, the drug wasn't tested sufficiently enough to be given to pregnant women. And approximately 20,000 babies were born with really never before seen disabilities. And I'm one of them. Now, being born with very small arms is certainly not easy, and especially in post-war Germany, where the attitudes were really not too supportive towards people with disabilities. Nobody expected me to walk, go to school, anything. And I am who I am, and I always had that. Um, let's say push mindset. I go already here a little bit. The push mindset. I always knew I could do whatever I put my mind to. I think it's partly because of my mother. She always told me she was the typical German woman. You know, she always told me you can do whatever you put your mind to, and don't give up, and don't you dare to whine. So I was certainly not allowed to be a victim or feel sorry for myself. I just went through life that truly believing that I can do whatever I put my mind to. I just have to do it differently than most people. So that's the first part of my story, really, really quick. And then the second part, here comes the second part. So I never really knew how it is, to have arms. Of course, I was born this way. But 12 years ago, something so unexpected happened. I'm driving my non-modified car. Yes, I have driven a car for almost 40 years. So on May 17, 2012, so the anniversary comes up really soon. May 17, 2012, I'm driving my car in Taos, New Mexico. It's northern New Mexico, very isolated place. I mean, and I have a massive stroke while I am driving my car. And I always say there just is never, ever a good place to have a stroke. But one of the worst places to have a stroke is when you are driving your car. And long story short, I passed out as I had my stroke. But fortunately, just that day, it happened so. If I might be, higher power or whatever, I had a passenger with me. And that passenger didn't panic. He grabbed the wheel in the last second. Again, long story short of my rescue from those mountains of northern New Mexico, which is very isolated, no cell phone reception, no nothing. So it took approximately 2.5 hours to get me to the next major hospital. Yeah, and that was even on the live flight. I mean, maybe, yeah, I think Laurie has heard the story of my rescue, which was in itself a miracle. Because coming from the mountains there, it's not an easy thing. It's not like here in San Diego, the hospital is down the street. But unfortunately, 2 hours and a half passed, and that's an incredible long amount uh, for a stroke victim. And I was barely getting through that window of being able being able to take the TPA. That's a blood clot dissolving drug, and that basically saved my life. However, and I was in the ICU forever, and I didn't even realize how bad off I was till a few days later. And I really realized that I could not walk, I could not speak, I could not do anything for myself. And as I mentioned earlier to you both, I do everything with my feet. That's just how I learned to do things to compensate for my little arms. And my left foot is my dominant foot, but it was a right-sided stroke. So the entire left side was paralyzed, so I couldn't use my left foot. And I went a little bit like Doug through extensive rehabilitation in order to walk, to learn how to walk again. I was 50 years old at the time. How to walk again, how to speak again, how to do anything for myself again. And I have to say, that was a tough one because you talked about that you didn't want to. That was interesting to me, Doug. You talked about you didn't want to talk to anybody except the people who learned how to walk again in your
Yes.
situation. Yeah, right.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And today I still follow that. It's when I broke
Yeah.
my neck and was paralyzed and lying in a hospital bed. So no bladder,
Mm-hmm.
no bowels, no
Mm-hmm.
arms, no legs. I only
Yeah.
wanted to meet with somebody who had been in that position before and had learned to walk again. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And a
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine from high school just happened to have had that happen to him. and somebody
yeah,
called them
yeah.
up, and I met with them in my hotel room, because experience
Mhm.
can make the biggest difference, right? If somebody's done it before,
Absolutely.
follow the map that
Mhm.
they've built, and ask for help. So, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
did, right? You asked for help.
Yeah, I did. And for me, it was easy because once in a while I have to ask for help. So asking for help is not such a big deal. But I can really relate to that. I didn't want to hear any whining because when you're in rehab, there are a lot of people who are desperate. There are two kind of people, I think. The ones who really fight for rehabilitation, and the ones who basically already given up and just accept the way they are now.
Hmm.
And I was not going to be one of the people. I was going to be one of them who fights. I'm a warrior, and I'm very small. I'm 5 foot 3, weigh 110 pounds, but I am a warrior, and I was not going to give up. And the only people I talked to was a young man who had an MS, and his name was Juan, and he told me one day he wants to run a marathon. Now, the problem with Juan was he couldn't even walk across the room, nor could I. But I thought the marathon was such a fabulous idea, right? Yeah, why not? Okay, it's 26.2 miles, right? So I really fixated on that. And every step I took in rehab, I didn't think of myself, oh, poor me, poor victim, why me? Well, a little bit I thought that too. I mean, that's normal. I'm human focused on that marathon. And I trained and I trained and I trained till I could walk across the room, till I
Wow.
could walk across the hall. So I was really only interacting with Juan. And maybe if he listened to that, he knows exactly what I mean.
You were
I didn't want
fixated.
to.
You were fixated
Absolutely.
on one
Yeah,
on one thing.
hmm
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
I was fixated on
See?
Whistler, because I had skied Whistler Blackcomb when I was with the
Mhm.
Vancouver Canucks, and I made it my goal to get my kids, who when I was paralyzed were 2 years old and
Ooh.
1 week old.
Ooh.
And I made it my goal at that stage that I was going to get to Whistler again and ski with them.
See?
And
Yeah.
I did. We got there when they were 11
hmm
and 14. Like we did
See?
it. It,
hmm
it
hmm
chokes me up just thinking about it. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
amazing, the common ground.
That's your motivation. And
Mhm.
yeah, you and I, we have so much common ground. I know exactly what you're saying because, I was friendly to the other people in the rehab, but I did not want to hear any negativity. I only wanted to look what is possible. And to this day, and almost my entire life, I mean, when I was younger, I didn't always believe that things are possible, but that's another story for another time. But most of my life, I'm thinking what is possible because I feel I have, and you will understand it, and Laurie will understand it, the passion for the possible. It is really a passion. And
Mm.
my entire life have gone that way. And I think because the doctors didn't think I could walk again because the damage, 2.5 hours from the onset of a stroke. I don't know. I knew the numbers, how many millions of neurons are dying each second. It's crazy. They didn't think I could do it. But although I couldn't talk, in my mind, I could think. The words wouldn't come out though. I knew. There was no doubt about it. No matter what they are saying, the doctors, what do they know? I mean, they don't know a lot, but they did not know that I'm just armed with perseverance, and that they have underestimated what that can do.
Who did
Perseverance, and you know that.
who did you surround yourself with? I'm always curious when someone recovers. There's a handful of people. Did you find, like, your coaches? Did you seek them out? The people that supported you, or were they there for you?
Yeah, my life partner, and we're still together. We're almost 20 years now. He
Mm.
was very supportive, and yeah. And my beautiful son. I have a son and I have 3 grandchildren, but they were not born at the time. Um, but she was pregnant already, my daughter-in-law. So I had another thing to motivate me, my grandchildren, because my grandchild or grandchildren now, I want them to see what a warrior looks like.
Mm,
I just, and I have to lead by example.
yeah.
I see many people who are just talking, 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 but we have been through it. We have been through the fire. And that's where the real experience. It's easy to talk about stuff. You cannot give up, you cannot do this, that.
Hmm.
But we went through the fire, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. And after my stroke, I really sat down and I thought, what really got me through this incredible, difficult rehabilitation? And I came up with a push. Okay, push, great. And then I figured out that's an acronym: push,
Mm,
persevere until success happens.
hmm.
And then I sat down thinking, what are really, well, what are the principles of push? How did I get through not only my disability, um, but also through that immense rehabilitation? And I came up, I'd call them today the 6 push survival skills.
Oh,
And
excellent.
yeah, and I talk in my book much, much more about it. And I'm always saying, Doug and Laurie, you don't need to have a disability. You don't need to have had a stroke. We all experience adversity in one form or the other. Push will always help you with the push survival skills. In any case, if you have an adversity, you can almost always turn it into an opportunity for growth, and for growth of personal, business, whatever. You can transform it, your adversity. And I encourage, sometimes that sounds crazy, but I know it works, and both of you probably know that it works. Adversity, when it happens for us, it doesn't feel good. But I have taught myself that it might just be a gift of some sort. Sometimes we cannot see why adversity would be a gift. And that's an outrageous idea. Some people say, yeah, whatever, Sabine.
Well,
But,
there's no growth without
right.
pain.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, like that's
exactly.
the thing. There's no growth in comfort is another way to put it,
No,
right?
no, no,
So
no,
like if
no.
people pursue, and that's what we're designed to do, that's what the system seems to teach us is, try to be comfortable. If you, as soon as you're comfortable, you'll be okay. Well, that's the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be.
Right. Definitely, definitely. But hey,
Comfortable.
yeah, Doug, let's face it, I like to be comfortable here in my beautiful home in Southern
Sure.
California. Sure, sure. But uh, like I said, even it doesn't matter how poor, how rich you are, what your background is, adversity will certainly always find us one way or another.
Are you
And of
hitting the
course,
stage? Are you hitting the stage like somewhere?
but
Are you speaking? Like I just wanted to find out a little bit
Oh,
about your
yeah.
speaking
Oh,
career.
yeah. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
speaking quite a bit. I would like to hit the bigger stages because I really feel very passionate
Hmm.
to to get this message to a lot of people. We're talking hundreds and thousands of people. Right now, I get it maybe to 100 people at a time. But I think it's so important, Doug, that we bring this message of overcoming, the message of push, that anybody can persevere until success happens. Just between you and I'm looking for a TED talk, and
Oh, that,
I haven't had
oh,
one yet,
no,
but
we'll get you a TED talk. Don't worry about that. I've
yeah.
done that talk, and Nick
Oh,
Vujicic, Nick Vujicic, and I did an event at Notre
yeah.
Dame last year. You
Oh,
know,
really? He did a TED. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah. So
him.
he
Yeah.
closed. I opened the conference at Notre Dame, and Nick closed the conference, and it was it
Oh
was
yeah,
absolutely phenomenal. When
yeah,
you speak so much like him. It's just amazing. And he's a big money maker. So if you touch
yeah, yeah,
base with Nick, Nick will
yeah,
give you the model that he uses to grow
yeah,
it, and the
yeah,
attitude
yeah,
that he needed to be
yeah.
able to grow it, because he
Right,
needed to
right.
change his attitude. He talks about
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah, right,
And
right.
right back to what his mother tried to teach him, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, you guys, would you like to meet Nick?
Yeah, I
Of
would
course I would.
love to meet him. Or
Oh,
who
okay.
doesn't, right?
Of course we would.
He's
How about me over here?
Yeah, okay, for sure, for sure. No, he's a
Laurie.
good man.
I
Yeah,
Hello.
love you. I love you,
All right.
yeah.
Well, I
Laurie.
hate to be the bad guy, but we're going to take a little break right now, and just
We're
to
having so
remind
much fun.
our viewers that, as Doug always says, though, that we're here to help, we're here to promote, we're here to support any way that we can, and so
Mhm.
that's why our brains start working. And just
Mhm.
on the rehab side, when Ron had his stroke, and Sabine knows my story,
Yeah.
and so does Doug. But when my husband had a massive stroke at 70, I
Mm.
would not even entertain the idea of putting him in a rehab center.
No.
So I didn't want him to, because we become what we are around. And I
Mhm.
didn't want him to see that his fate might be in a wheelchair forever, or some of the outcomes. So we're all on the same page. So let's take our break.
Absolutely.
And when we come back, I would like to know if you'd give us a little insight, maybe just share one or two of your secrets out of your book Push,
Yeah.
to help us with overcoming, and we'll put up where you can get your book too. All right, so we'll be
Mhm.
right back after this 30 seconds of snowflakes falling out of the air. All right, welcome back. Dr. Laurie Davis here. You're listening to The Press Box with our host, Doug Smith, and our very special guest, Sabine Becker. So we've been talking and bantering back and forth about overcoming obstacles, huge obstacles. And we all know, because we're in that space and time in our life, that it can happen, it can be done,
Mhm.
because we're on
Yeah.
the other side. But a lot of people are not anywhere near there yet. And so we're here to inspire, empower, motivate, and support from all levels of experience. So, Sabine, I don't know about you, Doug, but are you interested in hearing maybe one or two little secrets from her book?
Yeah, I'd like to hear the top three.
Okay, persevere until
Okay.
success happens. That's the name of the book. Push. Persevere until success happens. Okay,
Persevere.
Sabine, over to
Okay.
you,
Woohoo.
my girl.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I would love to give away three of my success secrets from my book, The Rebel's Guide to the Power of Push, because I see myself as a rebel. And I want others to be a rebel too. I want everybody who experience adversity to rebel against adversity and embrace the push mindset. Now, I already said it. Push is an acronym that stands for persevere until success happens. And what that entails, that the mindset of perseverance, I focused on goals. I focused on hope. First, it was hope, because it is difficult when adversity happens for us. I would say for us, not to us. I almost said to, but for us, it is so important to focus on hope, because if you don't have hope, you cannot persevere until success happens. So when I was in rehab, couldn't walk, couldn't speak, couldn't do anything for myself, I had hope. I developed hope. And then the thing with hope, this is great, having hope, but then you need to right away follow it up with action. This is so important, to follow it up with action consistently. And despite setbacks and difficulties, commit to taking consistent action towards your goals. That the way that looked for me like I worked out tirelessly in rehab. I worked with a rehabilitation specialist, a therapist. I even worked after hours on the bicycle, on that stationary bicycle, because I knew I lost a lot of muscle in my legs. I knew in order to walk again, I had to develop my muscle again. So I really had to take a lot of action. And I never lost hope. I just challenged the limits. And that's what I want to do, everybody to do, rebel against the limiting beliefs. Because when adversity happens, it is really easy to fall in a dark hole. And I'm not saying that I did not fall in a dark hole. I did once in a while throughout that 1 year fall into a dark hole. But I really challenge that is what do I want in my life? Do I want to walk again? And we talked about the Juan having this great idea to run a 26.2 marathon, although neither one of us could walk. But that's really the power of hope. And that's what I want to encourage people and to challenge their limiting beliefs, challenge this negative self talk. In one of my speeches, I call negative self talk like the snake of doubt, how it can hiss in your ear saying you really can't do it, you're not worth it. But I am always challenging the snake of doubt, because where does it get us? Nowhere. And definitely challenge your limiting beliefs. And the last thing I wanted to say, I know it sounds crazy to see adversity as a gift. Not that I wanted the stroke, but I had it. It is what it is. My son always says, Mom, it is what it is. And it really was what it was, right? It happened. But so we need to look at these things that happen for us, the adversity, and we need to find somewhere through adversity how we can transform it into an opportunity for growth. How can we make a difference? And I'm really big believer, and of course my book, The Rebel's Guide to the Power of Push, speaks but it speaks it's a 200 page book. It talks much more in depth about it than I can spit it out here. And I think last but not least, and this is really, believe in your ability to succeed. This is really important. Don't surround yourself with naysayers. I have had a lot of naysayers in my lifetime. I just shut them out. I'm not going to believe it. I didn't believe the doctors when they didn't say, oh, you will never walk, or you will never talk again. I believed in my ability to succeed. Sometimes it's not clear how to succeed, but if you believe it, you will find a way, because it's so important to cultivate, to grow this belief in your ability to overcome the current challenge and trust and resilience. We are so, and you both know that, we are so much more resilient, and we are so much more determined to persevere until you reach your own success. Push, persevere until success happens. So,
I love that. I love those.
Hope, action, believe.
that's a lot.
Yeah. And
What's that,
see
Doug?
adversity as a gift. See
Yeah.
adversity as a gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
yeah.
I have hope, action, believe, and see adversity as a gift. And that's mindset, right? Being able to see adversity as a gift.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really a mindset. It's the mindset of positivity. And again, I can emphasize when our adversity happens. Yeah, sure. Oh my gosh, it's really shocking. I was shocked. Everybody around me was shocked. But there's a point that you need to turn it around. into a positive mindset and really believe. And I think I found purpose. Not that I had no purpose before my stroke, but I really found the purpose and my passion to inspire and empower people to discover their inner strength and especially to resist giving up and to adopt the push principles to confront, well, it's kind of a weird word, to face life's challenges with resilience, courage, and perseverance. And that's my life's passion. And that's why the stroke, I believe that's why the stroke happened for me. So I could inspire and empower people even more than before the stroke.
Right.
Now, where now? Like you obviously live your life the same way I do. You have your eye on something big. You need something big to inspire you. What is inspiring you today?
What inspires me today? Well, I don't know that's an interesting question. Right now, I'm inspired to have a TED talk. I'm inspired
Uh,
to run another half marathon and then maybe another marathon because I believe really in staying fit. I'm 62 years old, but I really want to stay fit. That's very important for me. A healthy lifestyle. And yeah, just I have my eyes on big things right now, which includes the famous TEDx talk. So,
one
but because
physical,
I do believe,
yeah, one physical dream and one psychological dream. 'Cause the TED
absolutely,
Talk,
absolutely,
the
Yes.
ultimate
the TED
psychological
talk,
challenge.
absolutely. And I think it's also leaving a legacy. That to
Yes.
me, we are
Yeah.
all in the same age. It's leaving a legacy. How do we want our children to remember us? How do we want our grandchildren and people who love us? How do we want to be remembered? And
Mhm.
that's what we need to think about. I certainly want to be remembered as a warrior who never gave up, no matter what happens.
Mhm.
I hope you're using that warrior term in your book. I bet you are.
Oh,
I
yes.
do, I
I
do, I
bet
do.
you
Oh
are.
yeah, yeah.
Good. I was like, don't miss that. Don't miss that one. That's beautiful. It really
No,
is.
no, 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 no.
Well,
Absolutely not.
one of the things that I've come to understand, and over the years, I have not had a physical situation that I've had to overcome in my body. Well, except that I had cancer last 2 years ago now. That was kind of my first big hit, physically. But for me, it's always been that internal battle and not thinking that I was good enough and I wasn't perfect enough, even though I had no physical disabilities. But I believe everybody has a disability. So
Mhm.
it's internal or it can be external. Some of them are visible, some of them are not. But one of
Mhm.
the things I came to understand was it was okay for other people to give up on me, but it
Mhm.
wasn't okay for me to give up
Mm.
on me. And if
Perfect.
somebody
That's
else
really good.
gave up on me,
Yeah.
that wasn't, you know what? That actually, I've come to understand, had absolutely nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
When other people give up on us, that's their
Mhm.
inability to see
Mhm.
us as we
Mhm.
really are.
Exactly.
And here's the interesting thing. The more transparent I became, the more people gave up on me.
Hmm.
Mm.
That's
Okay.
very
I'm just
interesting.
realizing that right
Yeah.
now, because when I was able to put the mask on and be who they
Mhm.
wanted me to be,
Mhm.
they never gave up on me. But when the masks came off and I became clear about who I am and who I am in the world and acknowledged my gifts and whatever, that's when the rats jumped the ship.
Mm.
Okay?
Shoot.
So
Wow.
the more clear we become about who we are and what matters to us, and we make that our message or our
Mhm.
story,
Mhm. Mhm.
it was, and then it became okay. You know what? Because the clearer I become, the more people I'm going to tick off, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because we're
absolutely,
reminded, like
absolutely.
people, Sabine, people look at you and create certain ideas about who you are based on your physical appearance. Actually,
Absolutely.
57%, there was a study done, and 57% of how people respond to us is based on our physical appearance, whether they respond
57,
to us
yeah, yeah,
positively or
yeah,
negatively.
yeah, yeah,
57%.
yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
36% respond to us based on our tone of voice,
Yeah,
how we
yeah, yeah.
communicate, and only 7% based on what we have to say. So we've got to get through that 80 some percent of prejudging,
Yeah,
pre-percepting before people actually listen to us.
yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm,
So that
mm-hmm.
was a study done many years ago. Dr. Marabane, he wrote a book, Silent Messages. And I've always remembered that because, of course, as I become more transparent, wow, the more people I'm ticking off. So good luck on the 1,000 people in the audience, guys, on the stage, because I'll guarantee you're going to tick some people. But that's a good thing, because what does that mean? That
Yeah.
means you have uh, caused some awakening.
Mm-hmm,
If it's
mm-hmm,
something that
mm-hmm,
somebody doesn't want to hear, there's a saying, what you're resisting is what you really need.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
feel right now in my heart that skip the TEDx.
I
Okay,
don't think so.
just go right to the TED Talks. I
Oh,
mean,
the TED, the TED.
yeah,
Yeah,
you don't have to do the TED. I know they do TEDx in San Diego there. I know they do, and they probably
yeah,
do
yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
big TED maybe in LA. I don't know, but
Isn't it only in Seattle?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but I would recommend just
Yeah,
putting your strategy together, talking to people. Maybe there's some people who are listening to us right now who'd
yeah,
like to help in getting Sabine
yeah.
prepared for that, or has the
Good.
contacts. I know I do from having done the TEDx talk. I can make a couple of calls and get you nominated. I think that's the first step in the process is you must be nominated, and
I've never been
Mm-hmm,
there.
mm-hmm.
you would be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah.
So anyways, that's fantastic. We have a path forward together. Yes,
So
yes.
skip the TEDx, go to the top. I love that idea. I
And I
always
don't even
believe
know
going
that.
to the top.
Yeah, and I don't even know that. You probably, my suggestion would be, well, none of that. My suggestion would be just have your own show, and then you can
Oh,
talk
yeah.
24/7. You can talk 24/7 to the planet. Like I have my studio here. I have access
Mhm.
24/7. I can come on here anytime, any day, any night, and put my message out there.
Yeah, yeah, I love that idea, certainly. But with all the things I have to do, I don't know my own show. Maybe we talked about that before. I don't know.
No, I don't know, but
But certainly, yeah, I talked to somebody. Well, I don't know. But
you
the
just talk to me. You
TEDx,
just talk to me. I'm the showgirl. Okay.
okay, okay, okay. You have done this for 30
Don't talk
years.
to
If
anybody else.
anybody
I'm the
knows it,
showgirl.
you do
That's
know. You
right. That's
definitely do
right.
know. Awesome
All right.
ideas. Yeah, if anybody listens to that, I really want to spread my message on a much bigger scale. And I think the
Okay.
TEDx TED is really the stage to be.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, yeah. And also, are do you have any videos now? Can you point people to any place that you'd like them to go right now? Is there a place, or are you building the place like online, your digital footprint?
I have a website, and Laurie, can you type that in now?
I
Or
can. And your website is, and
yeah,
then we're going to
it's
wrap up, Doug. Okay. So,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
yeah. Well, let's get the website out there for
yeah,
sure.
your
So
website, Sabine.
Sabine Becker, yeah, Sabine Becker, one
Yes.
word,
Hmm.
speaks.com.
Beautiful. Okay. All right.
And
Well,
also the title, The Rebel's Guide to the Power of Push.
Now, when is it going to be ready? Is it ready? Is it out?
Oh yeah,
oh,
it's
yeah.
ready.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah,
So
I've had
we'll do a swap.
perfect.
I look
Yeah.
forward to it. That's fantastic.
Okay,
All right.
perfect. I will contact you, Doug, and
Here's
Abs-
I will
Doug's
get your
information.
email.
I'll
Okay.
put it up
a-
there. I'll put it up.
absolutely. And
Don't
in
be Let's
Oh,
see.
just a second. Lori. What's up, Lori?
I'm just going to put your information up there, Doug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here you are.
I'm just a facilitator. I'm just.
Okay. Well, listen, Sabine, thank you very much. Love to have you back, and we're connected. You're gonna know everybody I know. You can introduce me to whoever you want out there. I'll be coming to California soon, so look forward to meeting you in person.
Same here.
Really? Oh, let me know. And
Yes.
Lori, you are coming to California
Yeah,
too. Maybe we can all connect.
I'll
But
be
I go
making
to
regular
Italy
trips.
in August. So
Mhm.
Oh, you do? Okay. Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I was just talking to my wife about, Palm Springs and getting going down there and finding some heat. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So,
When are you coming down, Doug?
wow, we're looking at next winter right now
Yeah.
because we're
So you
pretty
Oh,
guys
booked
can
up.
discuss
I will
that.
be back.
You can
And
discuss
you're
that
coming
on your
earlier,
time.
right, Lori?
Yeah.
You can
Well,
discuss that on your time, okay? Your little trip
ah,
away.
Okay,
Okay, I don't
we will
care
do
about your
that.
wife going. Yeah. Okay. My wife says or
Oh
whatever.
my
it's
All
just a
right.
goodness.
regular conversation on this
I
show. You know what I
know.
mean? You
I
find out
know.
some
I
crazy
know.
stuff.
So
Oh man.
I want to formally thank our guest. Okay. So, Sabine, I just want you to know that I'm so happy that you fit us in. I think you're going to be so happy you fit us in because we
Yeah.
are a blessing to everybody we meet, Doug and I.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you are
Yeah. I can
too.
see
You are
that.
too. And thank
Mhm.
you for
Yeah.
your message and everything that you said. We all know is like the pure raw truth. So, your truth personified sitting there today. And thank you very
Okay.
much for being here.
Thanks, Sabine.
Thank you, Laurie.
Have
Thank you,
have
Doug. A
have a great day.
pleasure
Yeah.
to see.
Talk
And I will
soon.
contact Doug. Bye
Oh,
bye.
yeah.
See you
Okay.
later.
All right.
Yeah,
Bye for
well,
now.
you too, Laurie.
Thank you. All right. He's
Have
the
a great
star.
week.
I know he's the superstar, but that's all right. I know I am too, so it doesn't bother me a bit.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye for now. All right. Well, that's my friend Sabine Becker, and really glad that she was able to be here with us today, Doug.
Oh,
And
so fun. I mean, we could just go on and on and
I
on and
I
the
know.
openness and the ability you can just tell the openness is huge, the trust is huge.
Hmm.
All the behaviors I preach are there, and she's gonna have a wicked talk, with your tutelage. Holy cow, it's amazing.
Well, she has a wicked talk without my tutelage, actually.
Yeah,
So,
no, the story. The story is phenomenal. It's a story and a story and a story, and it's like I don't know, the gold in there is incredible. So
yeah.
it's amazing.
And how powerful would that be for all of our team at the Disability Channel to hear her story and to watch our show where we talked with her today? What an inspiration to all of the staff and the people that are working at the Disability Channel and our veterans. Um, I mean, this goes beyond you and I. You know that.
Yes, yes, yes. Huge, way bigger, way bigger. And there isn't anybody that wouldn't be listening to the message. There isn't anybody that doesn't want to hear what Sabine has to say, in my opinion.
Absolutely, for sure. So yeah, she's been an inspiration to me. And when I get feeling a little sorry for myself, well, I just, think about, hey, you know what? Be grateful. Be grateful. All right. Well, Doug, we're going to wrap up here shortly. So anything else you want to say to our viewers today? What a great show I believe we had. And
Fantastic, fantastic show. Love working with you. Thank you again for co-hosting here today. And this show is getting hotter and hotter all the time. I
mhm,
really want to just mention quickly the other shows that we have going right now. You're starting several other shows, so maybe you can tell people about it quickly. Just
mhm.
what are the shows?
Well, we just had our first week launching broadcasting 5 days a week. And on Mondays, our discussion is self help, self care. Tuesday is finance, talking about money and money matters. Wednesday is wellness. We've had some really super guests this past week. Wellness on Wednesdays. Thursday, voices of Indigenous people and our veterans' voices. So on Thursdays, we interview Indigenous clients and veterans. And on Friday, it's just a mixed bag of tricks, Doug. You know, we're going to do Friday's buffet. So you can be an athlete, an artist, an author, an addict. You can be whoever you want to be and be on the show on Friday. So we've got some pretty special lineups coming up.
Looking forward to it, Lori. Thanks again for a wonderful show, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will. All right. Bye for now, everybody. Thank you for being here.